always, flowing from the survival scrolls. I am your gracious host, Mr. Bobby Shades. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Bridging Fears. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the possible aftermath concerning the Afghan chaos. Let's go. So, I'm sure many of you who are tuned into what is happening in the now are seeing the chaos ensuing in Afghanistan. How the Taliban rebels have practically taken over that country. Why is that important? Because if a country can be taken over by terrorists, in this respect, I will use the terminology terrorists, simply because throughout the centuries, throughout the ages, Muslims and the likes have all been considered terrorists for their actions, and we've labeled them as such. We've seen movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger and where, they go and they terrorize and this and that. But we don't take into account that for many of them that are not terrorists, they're what we would call ourselves freedom fighters, because they're fighting for the freedom of their people and the liberation of their people. So I don't want to label a terrorist unless they fall into that category of being a terrorist. And in this case, in my humble opinion, I believe that the Taliban are an extremist group that are terrorists. We saw and we know that our president, Joseph R. Biden, the 46th president of these United States, has pulled troops out. It was started by the Trump administration, President 45, and where he felt, 21 years is a long time to have soldiers on the ground in that country, and it was about time. So Biden took the mantle and said, you know what? It's got some truth behind it. Especially over the fact that why is it that I will send troops, American troops, to go fight in a country for a group of people that won't fight for themselves? Trillions of dollars was poured into that country to teach, to arm, to fight. And within a matter of days, once the American troops were pulled, they were taken over by the Taliban. And you sit there and you go, oh my God. From a humanitarian point of view, from a humanitarian cause, I feel for those people. I really do feel. I don't know. I cannot empathize. I don't know what it is to have someone come in and occupy my home and occupy my way of living and my lifestyle. And if it's not adhered to through their doctrine, are murdered on the spot. An extremist group from reports around the world, not just American reports, but around the world. They're an extremist group. Some people may turn around and say, well, how do you know that, the people weren't fighting for themselves? It's very simple. All you have to do is look at the news footage of all the individuals that were at that airport climbing on top of planes, wanting to fly away to America or wherever to get away from the persecution, from the torture, from the murder. And every one of them were men. They left their women and children behind. I don't understand the mentality. I would want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they were trying to see if they can get help and come back. I don't know. But it does leave room for doubt as to the loyalty towards your country, towards your family. So, again, America has a firm stance in saying, well, if they're not going to take care of the country, why should we? We've been policing for far too long in many countries across the world. This one, the Muslim faction, the Muslim movement, other countries that are Muslim driven should go in and aid. Jordan, Syria, Saudi Arabia, and the likes. Again, I do feel for those people. I do deeply. It is heart-wrenching to see what is taking place. It is heart-wrenching to read reports across tabloids and media. It is heart-wrenching. What does that have to do with us? If this group, this extremist group, can go in and do that, who's to say that their radical way of thinking will not turn around and say, you know what? Let's start terrorizing other countries. Let's start terrorizing the country that we did a deal with, America. Now, for those that don't know, the reason why the agreement was created back under the Trump administration, under the tutelage of Secretary of State Pompeo, or Secretary of Defense, I get confused, but he was up there, was so that the Taliban will chill, but more than that they will pull away from Al Qaeda, which of course is an enemy of the United States. And they agreed. But now that they're in power, now that they're smelling themselves, feeling themselves, who's to say that these extremists will not partner with other groups to say, now, because our power is growing, we can now attack the very country that we were friends with, allegedly. It's room for pause and room to take notice of that the world is in chaos, that the world is changing, that there are extreme situations taking place for some time now, from last year, through the ages, but from last year with COVID and so many different things. So again, it's a concern. This is the possibility of new situations, violent situations, terroristic situations that can attack these United States. The people, you, me, your family, your friends, your loved ones. Nothing to be taken lightly. So, family, I ask of you, what is your position on it? Am I talking yang? Am I just talking, just to say that I want some views, that I'm on YouTube? Or is there some kind of actual factual possibility of truth in what I'm saying? It's sad. And most of all, it's scary because it can spill. We saw it domestically. We saw the Capitol being taken down by the very citizens of these United States. By the very citizens of these United States. We saw that homegrown here. We've had it. We had a Timothy McVeigh out in Oklahoma, for those that will remember that. Timothy McVeigh, who blew up a half a building, all in the vein of wanting to get rid of Big Brother and wanting to get rid of this and wanting to get rid of that. An extremist ideology fueled by images and thoughts and individuals that permeated his mind, that he carried out. I mean, he was executed for his crime, but it was a crime against man here in these United States. So what's to say that it can't happen halfway across the world and spill and slowly seep? Family, take notice of this. Take notice of this. This is not a lightly subject. Anyway, that's all I have for you. As always, flown from the Survival Scrolls, I am your gracious host, Mr. Bobby Shades, and this is Bridging Fears, a platform dedicated to come up with ideas and thoughts and conversations. Because if it can affect one person and reach one person, I'm sorry guys, then I think I'm doing a good job. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let the platform grow. It would be much appreciated. See you guys in the next clip.